And in the meantime, let me start with the introduction, because our next speaker, Bartłomiej, who is next to me on the stage, has a very specific superpower, which I hope he won't use today because we don't need more interruptions. And what is the superpower? Bartłomiej, in his career, 3 times caused a company-wide outage. So congratulations, Bartłomiej, because thanks to you, our work is flawless. His love towards exploring and fixing things and improving things made him do this. To what do you do for a living question, he likes to answer, I'm a janitor that cleans waste in processes. Over 20 years of experience with computers, from fixing printers' jams in the office to maintaining software run by hundreds of people. Privately, he's a husband and dad. In his free time, he does gardening and do-it-yourself projects. Before officially introducing Bartłomiej on the stage, I would like to let you know that time for the Q&A is not included, so Bartłomiej will take all questions here on my right side. Huge applause for Bartłomiej. Thank you very much.
Thanks. 1, 2, 3. Am I audible? Good. Okay, thank you. And today in this talk, I would like to answer a question, are resource leaks possible in a Python programs? First, we would like to define what a resource is. Then we'll figure out ways how we can clean up the resources during exit of the Python script and the cases when this may not work correctly. We will figure out if it's possible to fix the problem and finally answer our ultimate question, are resource leaks possible in a Python? Okay, but first you may say, okay, in Python we have garbage collector. You just don't use an object. A garbage collector will, the object will be dereferenced and garbage collector will just free the memory of that object. Right? Who agrees with this statement? I would like to be a little bit of interactive here, not to sleep. I think it's already time for a lunch, so you may be sleepy a little. Well, memory is not the only resource on a host that we have. We can define 2 types of resources. One to be the physical, the second one to be virtual. We have also human resources, but I am an engineer, so I will not talk about those. And on a physical part, we can think of a memory, of a CPU, or a disk space. So the things, the hardware mostly that we have on our hosts, on our servers, depends on what you are using. On the virtual side, we have mostly operating system limits, like number of opened files, number of named semaphores or open sockets, and there are quite a few others. In this talk, I would like to speak about those interesting cases, at least interesting to me, which means the leaks which may survive Python exit. I mean, you exit the script, but the leak is staying there. Because what's the fun if you just close the process and the problem is gone? Okay, let's bring now 2 examples of Python scripts which may clean up things on exit. I have 2 examples. One is the context manager, another one to be the @exit module. And for those who do not like to read too long scripts, those programs, we expect them to print the exit at the end of the script. So let's see how they behave. Let's open the shell and now run the script. Script is waiting for our input, and let's casually hit enter. What happens? We see the exit word. Yeah, so thing worked. Now let's try a little bit more advanced technique, I would say, to close this process. Let's use the Control C, which internally will trigger SIGINT, but I will talk about this a little bit later. So we run the scripts again, and now hit Control C. And we have a little bit more output than before, but again, we can see the exit script, exit word being printed out. So yeah, it worked again. But you may say, okay, you were supposed to show us the way which is not working, right? So bear with me, we are almost at this point. But let's now take a look, take a side note about POSIX signals. Any of you aware what signals are? Yeah, so quite a few. For those who don't know, this is standardized type of message, the means of inter-process communication, which is used to let process know or to, yeah, you send the message to the process which should trigger specific action on a process. And there are quite a few of those defined. I counted 60, over 60 on my Linux machine. Can you shout a few names of such signals? SIGTERM, yeah, SIGINT, SIGUSER, SIGSegmentation fault, right? Probably the first one which every C++ or C developer encounter. Okay, but let's now focus on one specific, the SIGTERM. Why this one? Because if you look or work with Docker, if you work with the Podman or with Kubernetes, each of those use a SIGTERM as a default signal to let process finish when you are just shutting down the container. And SIGTERM is actually considered to be a gentle way for a process to end. You may actually catch the signal and do the proper cleanup. Okay, so let's go back to our examples and see what will happen if we will run, if we send it the SIGTERM signal. We will use the pickle command here, and our experiment successfully failed. We do not see the exit string anymore. And please note that the terminated string, which you can see here, is coming from bash in this case. So it's not part of our script. And why is it so? So maybe let's take a look at the documentation. Documentation about the context manager is a little bit lying to us because it says that the exit function will always be called. We have seen this is not the case. However, hopefully the documentation about at exit is a little bit more helping us. We can have a hint that it may not work when we have a signal that is not handled by Python. So let's see what's going on with this SIGTERM then. Let's import a few things from signal module. And as you remember, we used the SIGINT before. And in this case, we had the default int handler. And in case of the SIGTERM, we see the SIGDFL, which stands for a default. And if you refer to manual on the Linux, you can confirm that the default action for SIGTERM is actually to terminate the program, which means termination means the program will not get any more CPU cycles. It has no chance to do any cleanup. It just ends its life by the operating system. Anyone surprised? Because essentially the SIGTERM, which was supposed to be the gentle way to close the process, is actually treated the most brutal way. I was definitely surprised that this is the way how it's implemented by default. Okay, let's now try to figure out what kind of options we have to fix that. We will not be implementing the signal handlers, because that would take quite a few more minutes. Let's just try to reuse what Python gives us, this default int handler function, which actually internally just raises the keyboard interrupt exception. For that, we will include those 2 lines, actually 3, into the previous examples, and let's see what will happen. Okay, so going back to our shell, we are running the script, which is waiting for our input, and now our output is more similar to the Control-C use case. And we see the exit string. Yeah, so thing works. I have one side note here. If you are using any standard framework or standard library, most likely those are already implementing the handler for a SIGTERM. However, be aware that I have found even some which are not. For example, TensorFlow, I think TensorFlow server, there is an open issue since 2021, which is not yet implemented by them. Okay, so finally we can answer, yes, the leaks are possible in Python scripts, but then the question is, which resources may be leaking? And I propose here an interactive approach. So I'll give you the Python object, and please figure out or shout out to me which you think, which type of the resource that may be leaking to the outside. So the first one, multiprocessing shared memory. Anyone? The brave ones? The RAM, right? The semaphore. The limit of named semaphores. And the multiprocessing manager. Here it's a little bit tricky because if you're using the spawn method, you may end up with 2 processes which are left after the process exits, and those may even consume the CPU, and of course RAM. And I have also one another, which is Python fuse. The fuse is a file system in user space, and this one can occupy RAM. It's also a little bit tricky, but it happened to me that in some edge cases it is possible for a process to end in to actually deadlock in a non-interruptible sleep, because the program will try to do the input-output, and you cannot even kill that process. Which means if you cannot kill that process using the kill signal, which means you cannot close the container, which means the container will be left on an operating system, on a Kubernetes cluster in that case, and in time there was so low memory that this specific node was not able to schedule any more pods, any more containers. And it was really fun. Okay, of course, this is not the exhaustive list of all the leaks which may happen. Those are the most interesting ones. At least the winner here is, of course, the multiprocessing library. However, so my final thought for you, my key takeaway, is if you're using any sophisticated resources or any operating system level resources, just make sure that SIGTERM is properly handled by your application. Thanks for your attention.